Here's what I'm thinking. This is prediction territory. So the ABB, they're going to be a tough fight. I'm sorry.
Welcome to Inchworm,
the podcast in which we're inching through worm. I'm Jenny.
and I'm Ted.
We read Buzz 7.7.
Yeah, well,
A disastrous chapter.
we're into the Cape stuff, finally.
I was going to combine disastrous and chapter, and I was like, disaster. And then I was like, wait, that's already a thing.
But it's the thought that counts. I feel like our pivot has concluded. We're into the Cape stuff at this point. Though there's still some relationship drama lingering as their
that's true.
ambulance careens off course.
There is overlap. It's not a clean divide, but
yeah.
Yes, we are fully in the Cape excitement part of the arc.
Do you want to get into the details of it?
Sure. So, as we learned last time, Taylor was watching TV and she saw the Empire 88 reprisal for what's happening. So, what it is, it's Purity floating above the docks and destroying a building. She destroys the building where Bitch had been keeping her dogs and then destroys some other buildings. Brian and Taylor can't tell, watching whether there were people in any of the buildings. Taylor is like, oh my gosh, we have to act right away. Starts changing into her costume, like doesn't even worry about taking her shirt off in front of Brian, though she does turn her back. And Brian's like, what are you doing? This is not our job to fix this. And Taylor's like, no, they're doing this because of us. And they could be hurting innocent people. And Brian's like, well, the heroes are going to handle it. This is not something we need to do. While they're discussing that, Purity starts announcing to the camera that, she says, you took the most important thing in the world from me. Until she is returned, this doesn't stop. She specifically calls out the Undersiders and the Protectorate. And on camera, we see Night and Fog killing the camera person, basically. Like a bank of fog rolls in, Night walks in, and then when the fog rolls out, I guess there's some blood and screaming. When the fog rolls out, there's no body, there's just like a little bit of blood. And Purity kind of wraps up her announcement to the camera saying, we're not the ABB, we're way better organized than that, and she will have her daughter back, and we will have our restitution, she says. So, really bad. And Taylor and Brian have a little bit more discussion about, Taylor's like, what, are we really not going to save these people after that? And Brian says what we're going to do is call Lisa. So, Taylor calls Lisa while Brian starts cleaning up her ear, which we learned last time was going to need stitches. And they have a somewhat cautious and coded conversation because they never want to be too honest over the phone. And we learn that Coil has told Kaiser he's the one responsible for the outings. It wasn't the Undersiders. But it seems like Kaiser either just hasn't bothered telling his subordinates or he's intentionally not telling their subordinates. And Brian's theory is that if Kaiser's subordinates take care of the Undersiders, after that, Kaiser can be like, actually, it was Coil. And then they'll also take care of Coil. He kind of gets two birds, one stone. And Lisa says Coil isn't willing to announce publicly what he did because he doesn't want that kind of spotlight on him right now. So, we also learn from Lisa that Purity has not stopped, as she said. She's kind of doing strafing runs across the docks. She's too fast for anyone except Dauntless or Velocity to catch, and she hits harder than both of them combined. Really intense. We did not know. I mean, we kind of guessed she was a heavy hitter. I can see now why Kaiser was so eager to have her back. That's some serious firepower. Oh, Lisa also says she leads her own subgroup within Empire 88, so Fog, Knight, Alabaster, and Crusader are probably on the streets with her. Lisa says she has her own friends in the neighborhood, and also they're probably going to destroy the Undersiders' loft at some point. And she's not okay with that. And Brian's like, yeah, okay, fine, we'll go, but no direct confrontation until we have a game plan. Lisa says that they did manage to get the dogs out and they're holed up somewhere else.
Thank goodness.
And Brian says he'll call Coil for a vehicle, and in the meantime, he'll stitch up Taylor's ear. So we kind of get back to them. We do a little jump and we get back to them in the vehicle where Taylor's like, wow, that hurt. They're in sort of a medical, it's like a fake ambulance. It does actually have a lot of medical gear in it, though. So maybe it's a refitted ambulance, unclear. There are extra compartments for weapons and Taylor's bugs. The ambulance gets through a blockade by putting its sirens on. It's being driven by a couple of Coil's people. And Gru and Taylor have a little more conversation about, like, the decision whether or not to help the innocent people. We should talk about it. Oh, and then the van is hit, and there are 3 members of Empire 88 in front of them: Hook Wolf, Storm Tiger, and Cricket. So not even the ones that we knew were going to be out with Purity. This is a different group. And we get a little backstory on them, and Brian and Taylor are like, no, we have to run. And Coil's people are like, we can shoot them. And Brian's like, there's no way that will work. He, like, kind of subtly gets them out of the van and then blankets the block with darkness, and they start trying to escape. And Taylor's kind of navigating via bug, holding the hand of the female person dressed as a paramedic. It's actually one of Coil's people. And the bugs feel someone come after them. She shoves the paramedic to one side, leaps to the other side, and it's Storm Tiger, who has done something to clear some of the darkness, and kind of taps his nose and is like, I don't need to see you, sweetie. And Taylor's like, darn it, I hate enhanced senses. And that's the end of the chapter.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I feel like I got in the weeds a lot there, but it was, kind of a discussion-heavy chapter.
Yeah, I mean, a lot happens. We even get a little, like, scene change where we jump from the loft to the ambulance. It was notable to me. It might not be literally the first time, but I feel like it was...
It might be the first time, though. Yeah.
Innovation to be like, well, I want to do a little more in this chapter, but
I don't want to show Brian stitching up Taylor's ear.
Yeah, or, like, waiting for an ambulance, getting into an ambulance.
Right.
It was a good way to get into the next action piece.
We've left our hero villains in a classic spot.
Yeah.
On the back foot against some enemies.
Right. It's just Brian and Taylor, or Gru and Skitter, rather.
Yes.
And
with 2 of Coil's people.
Of Coil's people who...
probably don't have powers. Are probably well armed.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, I'd be shocked if they weren't. They might also have, some tricks up their sleeves. I'm sure Coil equips his people well. But yeah, Brian is not much of an offensive power. And it seems like Storm Tiger, at least, can really get around Brian's defenses. So that'll be tricky. Though, probably Brian's darkness will still be useful against the other 2. But it seems like Storm Tiger is facing off against Taylor. We'll have to see how much good she can do with her bugs in this situation.
Well, going back to the beginning of the chapter, the first thing that struck me was, turns out Brian was not being paranoid, right?
Yeah, no, true.
Staying at home wouldn't have helped because Purity is just blowing up buildings, right?
So
it's
what
only
we
a matter
learned,
of time.
Yeah.
I was sort of like, well, couldn't they just stay in the loft for like a day or whatever? But no, actually, that's too dangerous because Purity has decided to fly around. She's destroying Bitch's dog shelter, which Taylor recognizes, which is a known Undersider location. But, I guess the neighborhood's only so big. The odds of their loft getting just leveled randomly is going up by the minute.
Yeah. We learned that the reason she's doing this, I mean, it was implied in her speech, but apparently while she was still at work, I guess, what is she, an interior decorator or something?
Yeah.
She hadn't even seen the email. She hadn't even heard about the expose. Some people with, like, CPS went into her home and took Aster. And we know from her interlude that Aster's, like, the most important thing to her in the world. It's, like, the only important thing. And so she's basically willing to destroy the world if it'll get her child back.
Yeah. I mean, that's what she says. She is basically threatening to level Brockton Bay. Like, the city is just recovering from Bakuda and all of this terrorism by the ABB. And she's basically like, hey, I got more people. I'm stronger. This is going to be so much worse.
Yes. This is really what Taylor and Lisa, everyone was afraid of when this expose happened. Like, this is crossing a line. It's sort of leveraging an angry, I don't know if it's quite an angry mob, but angry citizenry against these villains and their families, which is not something that's usually brought into the picture. And, like, I mean, yeah, of course, like, I can understand why people would be like, oh, this child's being raised by a white supremacist supervillain? Maybe not. And also why Purity would burn down the world for that. What a grenade to throw, taking her child away.
Yeah. Well, do you have other thoughts about what's going on there? Do you think it's not the Undersiders, obviously, not the Protectorate, but the non-parahuman government of Brockton Bay acting?
That was what it sounded like to me. Let me check that part of the text.
I guess what I'm asking is, do you think it's reasonable for Purity to demand something of the Protectorate and the Undersiders?
It does say Child Protective Services and a contingent of capes.
So we don't have the
presumably
details.
that's the heroes, because it wasn't the Undersiders. I guess it could have been the Travelers. That seems weird. It seems weird, the idea that any villains would ally with Child Protective Services. I assume that it was the heroes. So
certainly that's what Purity's assuming.
Right. So she's mad at the Protectorate for taking her child. She's mad at the Undersiders for exposing her identity such that the Protectorate could take her child.
Yeah.
So that's why they're her targets.
Yeah.
She doesn't know that Coil was the one who actually did the expose.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I think this is probably the point you were making, but this is sort of a why involving families can go so badly.
Right.
Right. If you're willing to take prisoners and make it personal, then you're sort of... Purity is sort of calling everybody's bluff, right? It's like, I don't care. At this point, the only thing that she cares about is getting her daughter back. And then who knows what step 2 is. Mm-hmm, but she doesn't seem to care in this moment that her life has been blown up. Mm-hmm. She's not worried about kind of the long term. Or maybe she just doesn't believe she could possibly... She's strong enough that maybe she doesn't believe she could possibly face consequences, even though she's destroying the
there's
city.
no consequences she could face that's worse than what already happened.
Yeah.
Like, what is she... She has nothing to lose, as she said.
Yeah.
Yeah, she would obviously die for Aster. Like...
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure how I feel about this move on the part of the heroes. I don't want to err on the side of, like, extending too much sympathy to Purity, who has voluntarily thrown in with white supremacists. Like, you know, she's a villain. She's awful. And clearly what she's doing now, like, you know, no points to Purity. But, like... It sort of smacks of, like, self-righteous revenge. The idea of, like, oh, we found out who this supervillain is. Let's go steal her child. Like, I doubt they had any, like, actual reason to think Aster was being mistreated because, I mean, it doesn't seem like Aster's being mistreated, like, from everything we've seen. Purity is clearly, whatever else she is, a loving mother. Like... I guess their argument would be like, well, it's inherently bad for a child to be raised by a white supremacist supervillain. And if we delay, then she might hide the child and we couldn't save the child from this life.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of saying like, oh, this person doesn't have the right to have a child, which is... Like, absent any knowledge of how the child is being treated, it's just like, oh no, these people don't deserve to have children, which is a very, like, almost like eugenicist point of view. It's not really what it is. It's not about reproduction. It's like...
Yeah, I
but,
mean...
like, the right to have a family is so fundamental. Like, this is such a strong step. Of course, on the other hand, if they actually arrested her, they would be de facto taking her away from her child anyway. So, I don't know. Yeah,
that makes sense to me. That sort of self-righteous... It seems like a pretty extreme thing to do. And also it seems obvious to us in this conversation that Purity would perhaps be willing to call this bluff, right? So it feels like a miscalculation from that perspective,
yes.
Right? If that's what you're trying to do. It's like, oh, we'll save Aster, and now, like, I'm sure somebody has died in the collateral damage.
A lot of people, probably.
Yeah, like, the docks are, like, somewhat abandoned, but not that abandoned.
Yeah.
So, like,
they weren't prepared for this.
Yeah,
like, they should have tried to arrest Purity rather than trying to take Aster away.
Right. If the heroes are, like, doing this for the greater good, or, like, to save this child in some way, it's so misguided, considering what we've seen already. Right.
And now, if Purity hadn't seen the news, they could have shown up and arrested her there at her office. That would have been the better move.
Yeah.
It's also possible that it wasn't the Protectorate that did this. I'm assuming that...
It is intentionally vague. We don't know.
Lisa says capes. Purity says the Protectorate, but we don't know that she has... I mean, she wasn't there. We don't know that she has full information. It's possible that Coil did this, that he sent the Travelers or, other people in his employ, and he is just trying to kick the hornet's nest and rile up Empire 88 as much as possible.
Buzz.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the buzz, is Empire 88 as a hornet's nest that's been kicked, and that's going to be the fastest way to take them down is to, kind of explode everything.
Right. Yeah. If you want Dauntless and Velocity to team up and chase Purity down, you got to get her flying around the city, blowing up buildings. Does Dauntless even
have any power right now?
That's
to
true.
steal his gear?
We haven't heard from him.
I'm not sure.
We don't know.
And if Coil did do that piece deliberately, which we know he at least started this all deliberately, is he prepared for the consequences? Does he have a plan for this? Or is he kind of just sitting back and letting the pieces shake out, trusting that he can direct the overall destiny of Empire 88.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting, right? The Coil's masterminding it theory. We still don't really know what his power is, or even if it's any good. But if
just the coins.
Gru and Skitter, who he's invested in, get killed by Storm Tiger in the first page of the next chapter. Like, he's really screwed up his investment by kicking the hornet.
And I'm sure he would accept that outcome, but, like, it's not what he wants.
Yeah. Yeah, so it feels like we have limited information about how the hornet's nest got kicked.
Yeah.
And who might benefit, but we've got some good theories.
I'm sure I'll find out soon enough.
Maybe. It's a long-running mystery. Who are these capes that took Aster?
Entire book.
Yeah.
1.4 million more words before we find out.
Yeah. I did want to note, this is not something that I remembered. Did you catch that Purity's power is in a double helix formation?
No.
Her beams of white light.
Pure DNA?
Her power is blowing things up with
white DNA.
My note was just like, Jesus Christ.
So on the nose.
It's so on the nose.
Amazing. I mean, was her power somehow shaped by her choices? Or did she have a choice at some point to be a hero who blew things up with white DNA?
I mean, that is a really interesting question.
Because, I mean, I don't think we've really met anyone who has that level of control over how their power manifests.
Yeah, I don't think there's any evidence that it's controlled, but it was just a little throwaway thing. No. But
so in her speech, she does say, we're so much better organized. Actually, I think she says, I'm better organized. Now, she's second in command right now.
She has some deal with Kaiser that after a year, she gets to take over. But we didn't get any follow-up on that.
Which is interesting, because that does sort of imply that we will get some follow-up on that, which implies that Empire 88 will still exist a year from now. I don't know if the story will even still be going a year from now. Maybe not. Maybe it's just that's what he had to tell her to get her in the door, and it's a false promise and we don't really care. But yeah, so she's second in command. She's saying, we're so much better organized. We have so much more firepower than the ABB, which I think is true. The ABB had 3 capes.
Yeah, and Bakuda just showed up, so they had 2 before that.
Right, yeah. Really small potatoes, comparatively.
And I mean, to be fair, Empire 88, I think, was also, like, until Kaiser got Purity back on board, they were not as, I think she was able to reach out to her network. I don't totally am keeping track of who's more on Purity's side or not, but I think the idea was like Kaiser was kind of going through it and people were burning out.
Right.
But
Purity coming back on board was bringing some other people. You're right.
When he shows up at Summer's Rock, it's like, Empire 88 has even more capes, and maybe even since then, it's been a week or two, maybe there are even more. Like, it feels like it's dramatically increased in size quite recently.
It's a really bold move of Coil's to not try to whittle them down before exploding everything. Like, he's really just going for broke.
Yeah. And, I mean, it worked with the ABB, kind of.
Yeah, but this is on another scale, and they had Empire 88 on their side versus the ABB.
Right.
So this is really a step up in difficulty. I mean, ABB wasn't that hard, really, didn't seem like, so maybe this will be doable. But
what did you make of the Coil, fessed up to Kaiser, but he's not willing to go public, that whole dynamic, and then Kaiser is also not willing to tell his underlings?
It feels a little bit like men in armchairs deciding the fate of the world kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll be honest with you. I'm just like, okay, well, I won't tell my people. I won't,
Yeah. Well, I guess what that implies is,
everyone,
they both think it's in their best interest to let this happen. Yeah. Right, that's what...
Which is funny. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Well, Kaiser's got to be pretty confident.
Yeah.
He has more capes than I feel like anywhere except maybe the Protectorate.
I mean...
in this town.
Named capes... I guess I don't know if all the people who got doxxed were in, Brockton Bay actively.
I would assume so.
Yeah, Purity's crew,
was like 4
plus
or 5.
the people we ran into on the street, plus Kaiser, is more than the Protectorate. I'm not sure it's more than the Protectorate and the wards, but they definitely have more than 6 or 7 people. Yeah,
and we have, Fenya and Menya weren't in that list. There are others that weren't mentioned. So it's, I feel like there are at least 15 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is going to be tough. It makes me think that Coil has more up his sleeve than we have found out thus far. Because I don't think he would do this if he didn't have several reasonable plans for dealing with it. Because I do think he hedges his bets. And I don't think he's not reckless.
Right.
Is the thing. He talked about how he made his wealth making like very conservative investments and, using his power to influence things. And he watched the Undersiders for like a year before sharing his plan with them, almost. And he has all these pieces in motion. This is not going to be a random, reckless move from him. He has plans and reasons. So we don't know what they are yet, but I think we'll have a much fuller view of the picture of like what Coil is bringing to the table after an arc or two of fighting Empire 88.
Yeah. Maybe so.
Yeah.
Speaking of Empire 88 more, we got to see Fog and Night at work.
Oh, yeah.
We had Crusader and I'm assuming Alabaster mentioned or visible. And then we had a little bit of demonstration from Hookwolf and Storm Tiger at the end.
Right.
And a visual on Cricket.
Did. Yeah. Yeah, so it seems like we have Fog, who seems to be able to turn himself into a bank of fog, which is not as good as Brian's power, honestly. But it's like feels like a weaker version, right?
Yeah.
Though I guess he can't be hurt in the same way when he's a bank of fog.
Fascinating.
Probably, so maybe that's a little bit of counterbalancing. And then Night, we didn't see what I
don't remember if we know.
We didn't see what Night did. They kind of jumped into the fog, and then surprisingly quickly, Taylor said,
eviscerated and the more or less dissolved.
Got rid of the body somehow. I'm not sure how you could even tell that when there was, maybe it was just on camera, but anyway. So, Night, we don't know, but terrifying. I kind of like the idea that whatever Night can do, they can't do it if they're being seen.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a Weeping Angels type thing.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Hookwolf, absolutely terrifying.
He's a big wolf made of hooks.
A maelstrom of, of spinning blades and stuff.
Yeah. It is it's very visually cool to imagine that it's sort of this wolf mech, but it's made of spinning metal and spinning twisted scrap metal. And at first it looks like this weird creature, and then as he's moving it sort of reforms into him. It's a very interesting and scary power.
Right. And then Storm Tiger, we don't really fully know, but he did something to disperse a bunch of Brian's darkness, and he has enhanced smell. So Tiger who controls the air, I guess.
Yeah, we'll see. Oh, yeah. Well, one other thing that we saw from Storm Tiger is that he can create, blades out of his hands. Sort of like sword claws. Oh, okay.
That's really quite a random collection of things.
It is interesting.
Is a Storm Tiger like a creature in mythology?
Well, someone on Discord... Storm Tiger is a tank, a German tank, and it's... Sturm means assault in this context.
An assault tiger. Okay, so maybe there's not a weather control aspect. It's just
he could have a breath or windy power because he was able to disperse the darkness. Maybe it's more like Dauntless's nullification, light or whatever.
Yeah, so those were the capes we met. Taylor's going to struggle against this guy, I think.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a lot of... we don't know what bugs she has, so sometimes she just doesn't tell us. I didn't get the impression that she had a lot of really, really dangerous bugs, because she didn't have a lot of time to collect them.
Yeah, but the ambulance was modified so that she could transport a lot of bugs in it.
So she probably has a lot of them.
She has a swarm.
Yeah, and she might have made some deliberate collecting excursions while they were waiting for the car to show up or something.
It's another reason why it's good to skip ahead. We don't see the planning.
We don't know.
She could have a bug surprise for us. Yeah. That's a great point.
Because Brian did say, we're not going in until we have a good plan. They didn't exactly look for this fight, but they did ride into the area, so maybe they do have a plan.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it is alarming that, they're fighting 3 people, and they're not even the, 5 people that they knew they might have to fight. It's
right, this is unforeseen.
It's going to be pretty bad. They haven't met up with the rest of the Undersiders yet.
Right, we don't know what Coil's people can do, though, so helpful.
So, but main impressions is they seem dangerous.
They seem dangerous.
Yeah. We haven't talked about the character stuff from this chapter at all yet.
No, that is a big thing. And really the most interesting thing in this chapter.
I think so. I really love the blocking in this early part of the conversation with Taylor and Brian. Taylor's like, Brian, get in here. You got to see this on the TV. And then even before Purity calls them out directly, she starts, like you said in the summary, stripping down. She turns away from Brian. She's going to get the rest of her Skitter costume on. And then Brian very deliberately like walks around in front of her and she's covering up a little bit and he just pushes down hard on her shoulders. And it's like, this is not something that we need to do.
Yeah.
And then they continue to have that conversation 3 or 4 times throughout the chapter where one of them keeps bringing it up and they keep dishing back and forth.
Yeah. The heroes will be the ones to take care of it. Brian says... A few pages later, he says, Taylor, I don't want people to get hurt or killed either. I'm not a villain that aims to hurt people. I'm just being practical. And I mean, I think he's being entirely honest. I think that sums up what he is.
Yeah.
He's not a hero. He's not a villain that aims to hurt people. He is a villain because it's practical for him. And Taylor is a hero.
Yeah. She wants to rush out and save innocent people.
Yeah.
And it's just fascinating to me that she isn't hiding that part of her.
Right. Well, she doesn't have any secrets now.
At all. Right. But it's kind of weird.
That she joined a villain gang?
No, that she cares. Like, she says, I want to save innocents. And then after Purity brings up, hey, Undersiders, Taylor immediately throws that in Brian's face. Like, okay, well, now that our reputation's on the line, are you going to come out? Like, are you going to change your mind? Because I know you care about reputation. You don't care about saving innocent lives, right? Like, it's very hostile, sort of bitter, like, which, you know, Taylor should care about her reputation too, right?
Well, she's in this situation where it's still kind of tragic, the situation she's in, where she really desperately wanted friends. She found this group of cool people who she wanted to be friends with, and she was able to accomplish many of the kinds of things that she became a cape for alongside them. Like, she got to help bring down the ABB. And she ended up deciding, like, no, I want to be friends with these people for real. But they still don't share her values.
Yeah.
And even if she's not hiding that these are her values, like, that's not going to bring them over to that side. Like, it feels almost like a doomed romantic relationship.
Ooh.
Like, where you both are super into each other, but, like, there's a fundamental divide in what you believe, like, morally about the world. And you just, I don't know that they'll really be able to reconcile it. Because, like, it's been a nice coincidence that so much of what they've faced has been fighting other villains. And so Taylor has been able to honestly be on the Undersider's side.
Yeah.
Fighting the heroes, I think, was less comfortable for her, but at least they weren't hurting them. And now we're finally getting to a situation where it might be in the best interest of the Undersiders not to stick their necks out to save innocent people, and that's not okay with Taylor. So she wants these, like, earnest, genuine friendships, but these people don't believe what she does.
Yeah. And this whole thing, right before they get interrupted, Brian brings it up again. They're on the way to battle. He can't get out of his head. He's like, I think you're angry. Are we okay? And at first, Taylor's still thinking about the fact that she got friend-zoned. She's like, that thing at the mall, no, we're going to forget that ever happened. And that's not what's on Brian's mind. Brian's like, hey, are you angry with me that I wasn't, up to your moral code, basically, right? He doesn't say it like that. And then she says, I honestly don't know. I wasn't expecting it. I see the lengths you go through to take care of your family member. I think of you as a pretty honorable guy, Gru rubbed the back of his neck. I'm not sure I'm as good a person as you're making me out. And then they get interrupted.
In the middle of making out.
Yeah. No. But it's so interesting. Despite what you were saying, this sort of like doomed romance vibe, it's weighing on him, right? Like their bond is strong enough that he's not like, oh, Taylor, you like,
why are you being weird about this?
Right, why are you being weird? He's trying to understand. He's like, there must be some reason. There must be something that I'm not getting. Or like, why are you mad at me?
That.
Yeah.
I think he can tell that she thinks less of him. I think this is a classic I'm not angry, I'm disappointed situation. I think she is disappointed in him. She thought he was honorable in this way because of what he's doing for his sister. And now he's saying like, yeah, but I'm not going to stick my neck out for innocent people that I'm not connected to.
Yeah.
And she thinks less of him than she did, I think. And it's funny that we just had, like, maybe this is why we just had him shoot down the romance, because I wonder if she would have lost interest anyway.
Yeah.
Because she has, like, she holds her principles so dearly and he doesn't hold them. And I think this really will affect her judgment of him because, like, she already knows what Bitch cares about. Bitch cares about saving dogs. She knows that Alec doesn't care about all that much.
Yeah.
She knows Lisa's philosophy of, like, it's all kind of cops and robbers. Like, it's no big deal. And she thought Brian was different, I think.
Yeah.
She thought Brian was someone who shared at least most of her moral code because of what he's sacrificing for his sister. But I think Brian's right. I think he's not as good a person as she's been making him out to be.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because of the way it's teed up. Like, what would it have been like if these scenes were flipped, right? If you'd had the Brian doesn't want to save the people before the friend zoning. Because you could... It
would have taken all the air out of the romance.
Well, but you could see the way Taylor is so on edge and the way that she's so quick to, like, throw stuff in Brian's face and, like, lose her temper. You could read that as, like, she's angry, she's hurting, and she's, like, her guard is down.
Yeah.
Her emotions are closer to the surface, and she's responding in some way to being hurt.
Right, because that is what she thinks of first, what she thinks is referencing.
Right. It is top of mind for her. But you could also read it as, like, suddenly the stakes are so much higher. Like, she did like Brian, she wanted to date him, but she doesn't want to date anyone as much as she wants to be a hero and be out saving innocent people.
And I think almost the stakes are lower in a way. Like, she's not risking a potential romance with Brian. She can be totally honest with him because she knows there's no romance on the table.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think, though, that Brian is not, a lost cause. Mm-hmm. I think he is feeling Taylor's disappointment, I think, because it's something that resonates with him. Like, he has chosen, no, I'm here for my sister, I'm here for my allies, and I'm being very practical about this. I'm making the choices that will let me succeed, advance, get the things that I've decided I want to get. But Taylor's thing makes sense to him.
Yeah.
And I think he feels ashamed. Like, she is shaming him by having higher ideals and by being willing to put herself on the line for them.
Yeah.
And I think she could be a really good influence on him.
Right.
I think that she could bring him around.
It's clear that he cares a lot about what she thinks.
Yeah.
And specifically what she thinks of him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he's not someone who's, like, callous and is like, I don't know why you care about this saving people thing.
Yeah. And he's not like, oh, well, that thing that she thinks is so weird that I'm going to think less of her. He's trying to meet her. He's trying to meet her somewhere, like, with where she's coming from. We might have more to say about Brian, but I wanted to bring Lisa's thoughts on it into the mix too, because I thought she did a really interesting splitting the difference here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they presented it to her like Taylor's on one side, Brian's on the other side or not, but she ends up saying, one, she's like, well, I have friends in the docks, don't you? Like, we should stick up for them. Sort of saying, like, well, maybe it's not my sister, but, we know some people. And then...
And it's our loft,
we don't want our loft to get destroyed. That's a very practical reason.
Where's Taylor going to keep all her spiders for making the costumes?
And a little bit of this, like, we should stick up for our home turf. Like, Coil kind of sees them as like, oh, you've established yourself in the docks.
If they're going to be holding the territory.
They're a team that operates there. And so that they, they need to... That's more of the, like, reputation side of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I thought it was interesting that she wasn't coming down one way or the other on the saving innocent people question.
Right.
She manages to figure out a third way.
Yes. Yeah. Here's what I'm thinking. This is prediction territory. So, Empire 88, they're going to be a tough fight. It's going to take a while to bring them down. It's not going to be the rest of the book. It seems unlikely that they're going to fight them for a little bit and then they'll back off and they'll still be a threat and they'll still be like, I think they are going to... at least to leave the stage for a long time. It might be that, like, some of the members flee Brockton Bay or something like that. And, like, Coil and his allies have won. And then it's kind of like, okay, well, where's the story? Is it them versus the heroes? Like, I think that what I said earlier about, like, Coil has more up his sleeve. I think whatever it is that he has up his sleeve that we're going to find out while fighting Empire 88 is what the story's about.
Ooh.
Is like the piece that once I know that, even though there's no clean-cut answer to at what point you learn what the story's about, but once we find that out, that's when I will effectively have crossed that line.
Ooh, yeah. That's a really solid meta prediction.
Right, I don't know what it is, but that's my prediction structurally.
I love that. I really love that. I mean, I think that's a great place to leave it. Do you have any opinions about what the next chapter will hold?
I mean, I think they're going to be fighting.
Yeah, I'll let you know there are
great combat.
Several more chapters in the arc.
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me. I think we'll have, to you. Yeah.
Probably the fight itself will take several chapters. It'll probably get more people involved. We'll probably meet up with the other half of the Undersiders at some point. And also probably more of Empire 88, maybe more of Coil's people. Yeah.
Could be exciting.
Hopefully the Travelers will get in there too.
Yeah. Yeah, we again get 2 members of Coil's crew who don't have names. I'm like, oh, these poor red shirts. We'll see. We'll see. Fingers crossed.
It's true. The paramedics.
But the sniper was so cool. Maybe these guys have something cool to bring too.
Maybe Herman Snipes will show up.
Yes.
I did have one thought that's kind of random, but I was just thinking, I was typing protectorate in my notes and I was like, that's actually a really sinister word. like a protectorate is kind of like when a stronger country is like, no, I'll rule you for your own protection. Like it's a very colonialist term.
Yeah.
And it's really, I really hadn't thought of that before. It's like very dark that the heroes are calling themselves that. Like they are kind of, ruling without the weight of, election or law or anything.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Coil wants.
That's true.
That's
Coil
his vision.
wants to do
Maybe
that
the
too.
heroes are already doing it.
Yeah. I mean, they have the buy-in, like government support. It's a little bit more above board, but yeah it's still kind of dark.
Great observation. And I think
random,
we'll leave it there. I can tell you...
the first sentence of the next chapter.
You're not going to believe it. Storm Tiger raised one hand in the...
air. In the darkness. No, I mean, she wouldn't be able to see it if it were in the darkness.
We'll find out what his hand is in next time on Inchworm. Worm is a web serial by J.C. McCrae. You can read Worm at parahumans.wordpress.com and support the author at patreon.com/wildvote. Follow us on Tumblr and Blue Sky at Inchworm Podcast, or find our Discord link and any other updates on inchwormpodcast.com.